Round two. Today is about relationships, continuing down that path. Why am I focusing so much on this? It affects everyone. It's something we can all relate to, be it young and old. It doesn't matter what your background is, doesn't matter where you're from or what you're doing. This is part of your life at one stage or another. I'm barring any significant difficulty. And I'm frustrated with watching around me and watching people not take it as seriously as they should. And I say that and I can't take it lightly, and I don't see how people take it lightly. It shocks me. Well, I mean, a common quoted statistic is what? Over 50% of marriages end in divorce, and what was it, 52.4, 54.3, somewhere around there. And it really doesn't have to be like that, but I don't even think that truly that even the individuals who are going through the divorce really recognize the dynamic impact that it has on their offspring, on their kids. I, just having grown up with many of my friends who have divorced parents, there are things that don't show up in textbooks, that don't show up in studies, that you can see that really affects that child's quality of life, that child's outlook on life, that child's outlook on relationships. And it's bad. It's almost like the poverty cycle where, you know, if you grew up in poverty and your parents grew up in poverty, it's kind of hard to break the cycle because everybody's just kind of in this cycle of doldrums. And relationships somewhat, and part of what I'm talking about is breaking the cycle. Say your parents were in an abusive relationship, they needed to be divorced or whatnot. You know, learning the factors that caused that to happen, that were behind that happening, or not necessarily caused it to happen, but were involved in that, are just as important as the divorce itself. You know, understanding exactly what happened, what was the differences between these people and what caused them to stray apart is crucial, and that should be explained to the kid, or hopefully if the kid can take some initiative, don't get me wrong, it's not all on him, but as they get older to recognize exactly what went wrong with the relationships around them and to learn from it. I learned from a lot of people. And one good example is a lot of people are like, oh, you can't knock it till you try it. Actually, you can. Because if you watch a whole bunch of people try something and it causes them significant consequences, why in the world would you proceed to try it yourself? You can argue that the perfect experience that you could gain would only come from doing it yourself, but you can glean enough from the experiences of others to effectively learn something. And basically, why reinvent the wheel? The wheel was already created for you. You understand what it does for you. Why would you now turn around and go and recreate the wheel just so that you can feel what it was like? Why would you do that? There is no reason to do that. Use what other people give you, what you can glean from other people's experiences as a foundation for you to move forward. There is no reason why you shouldn't do that. Absolutely, absolutely. Let's break down, you know, when I talked about people watching in the last video, I want people to understand what exactly I mean by that. Every time that I have a conversation with somebody, anything that I say, I'm not only watching the words that come out of their mouth, I'm watching their facial expression as the word comes out of their mouth, their body language, and then the subsequent, you know, interactions with them. I don't forget conversations that I have with people in general. All of them add up, and I continually add it, like I have a mental filing cabinet, if you will. And when I meet somebody, especially on a regular basis, I keep adding to that filing cabinet. And that's what everybody should do. You really, not because I'm pompous and I think my way is the right way, but really, take a look at it. If you remember most of your interactions with somebody, you are able to realize either consistencies or inconsistencies. And that only helps you. That only helps you understand who they are, what they're about, and whether certain aspects of them are compatible with you or not. Especially in relationships. This is going to be somebody that you're going to spend a significant amount of time with. Say you are a monogamous individual, it's even more crucial for you because you're going to spend time with this one individual at the exclusion of everyone else. So, you know, time is expensive. I mean, you don't get it back. You only have a limited amount of it. So your goal, especially when you first meet somebody, should be to learn as absolutely much or everything that you possibly can about that individual. Everything. And I can't stress that enough. You should ask questions. Don't get me wrong. Don't turn every day into 20 questions. But as certain situations arise where you can discuss certain topics or something like that, why not bring up things that matter to you? Or listen to their opinion on subjects that are going on around them that can give you insight on their character and who they are. For example, if a girl, I don't know, I know quite a few examples of this. I presume maybe some of you guys do. When you have a girl or a guy who dates somebody that is by most considered a non-pleasant individual. And I'm being polite when I say that, but they're either being considered maybe a bitch or maybe an asshole. You know, whichever variation you want to pick. But that person's response to you when you ask them, like, why is that person so non-pleasant, is, oh, he's only like that with other people. He's never like that to me. My response in that case is always like, you just haven't given him a reason to do that to you yet. It doesn't mean that it's not there. That is a character trait of his, and you're not probably going to change him from that. You should accept that for what it is. And once you see that, okay, do I want that in my life? Do I want somebody who treats everybody else like garbage? No. That's my answer. What is yours? But these things matter. If he is only nice to you, if he is only caring for you, if he is only giving you attention and everything else in his life is or just all over the place, that should clue you in. That should be a red flag for you. Okay. Maybe this is not the best individual that I can spend my time with. And it should be like a race. You guys got to understand, when you've got a limited amount of time to get to know somebody, almost like a speed dating, but on a grander scale, you know, I try to find out what I can, and on average, it's about 3 weeks for me to really get a full profile of somebody that I'm interested in. And from that point, I make a decision whether we're going to keep it going or I'm going to slow down the steam a bit. And so far from my fast, slow down the steam a little bit because I recognize the elements that are there. And I know that this is not compatible with me, what I'm looking for. That's not to say that these people aren't fantastic people. They are fantastic, maybe, but they may not be for you. And that's an important thing. Just because so-and-so is a good person or a nice person doesn't mean that they are the person for you. Again, we go back over this point that there is there's 7 billion people on this planet. There is bound to be somebody that will match your ideals, and you don't even probably have to search too far, but you do have to be proactive in your search. I'll leave you with that today. Just a quick rundown. We'll add some more to the relationship videos as we go along. I try to add in quotes wherever I can, and I don't know. I think what we can end today on is that the character of a person shouldn't change with who they're dealing with. And if it does, you should beware. That is a problem. That is a red flag. Also, be keenly aware with all of your conversations with people. Make sure that you're, even though it's a, as they call it, what is it, shooting the shit or talking in the wind, whatever, even if it seems like trivial conversation, you should really try to glean a lot from that. And people will say, oh, you're thinking too much into it. You would rather think too much than not enough. I ask you this as I close. Do you honestly think that most people, this giant statistic, 50 whatever percent, do you even think a significant portion of them said, I do until death do we part, planning on divorcing that individual in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever years? No, when they said it in that moment, they probably meant it, but they didn't understand what they were getting into. And so for you, if you have an opportunity before you embark on that type of relationship, why not learn from the people around you? Talk to married couples, talk to divorced couples, learn a thing or two of what they didn't realize would be such a big problem for them. And that you should apply to your profile, or what your profile, or whatever you want out of a significant other. Have a wonderful day.